Okay, so clear smelling is what they call clairalience. And I always thought that this clair was associated with the clairaudience. Like I heard that smell and taste were actually part of like the hearing spidey skill, but actually it has its own clairalience. So how I have experienced clairalience is I guess after my grandmother died, I would smell her perfume. And it would be random. I would randomly smell it. Sometimes I can smell cigarette smoke, and I know that that is my grandfather. Sorry, not my grandfather, my father. My father loved to smoke cigarettes. Like it was he loved it. Tried many times to quit, loves it. So sometimes I'll get a whiff of that. Also, sometimes it will trigger memory. So I was in Egypt once, and we were allowed access to this recently unearthed sarcophagus. And we went down into it, which, let me tell you, was no easy feat because it is hot in Egypt. And we went during a cool time of year, but it was so hot in there. And there was a very weird smell, and if I smell something once, I can remember it for the rest of my life. I know, and I can usually attribute it to a memory. And I had never smelled that smell before, but I knew that smell, and the only way to describe it is that it was really ancient, and that is the best way to describe what Egypt is like. But that smell was so familiar to me, and I was instantly reminded, because I'm like, how do I know that smell? How do I know that smell? Well, a few years prior to that, I had read a book about Same Soul, Many Bodies. And Dr. Brian Weiss wrote that book, and he talks about how you can do a past life regression. And so that was the very first one that I had done. And in that regression, I was able to, you don't have any control over where you go or what life you go to. You are just transported to a time, and there's understanding. And a lot of times you will understand that the people that are in that lifetime are in your life now. Okay. And so stay with me here. I promise this ties back to Egypt. So in that lifetime, I was shown that I was a high priestess in Egypt. In fact, I could feel the wig that I was wearing, like my head was shaved, but I had a wig on, and it was very itchy, and it was hot, because again, Egypt is hot. And my daughter was dying, and I was absolutely devastated by the fact that she was passing, and I knew she was passing, and angry. And that daughter in that life is my daughter in this life. And but I knew that smell. I knew that I had traveled through those different tunnels, that I had worked in some religious capacity, and I knew that smell of like acrid, I don't even know. It smells like incense and death and staleness, and it's not unpleasant, but it's just different. It's very different. But I instantly knew when I smelled that, I was transported back to that past life. And I knew that I had been there, and I had done work in those temples. And I don't know how I just instantly knew. And I had never smelled that smell before. I think too, sometimes when I'm doing deep work on myself, or if I'm working with someone who has things that they're letting go that are very old and heavy, sometimes you will smell a dead smell. Sounds really weird, but that's the truth. And so, but the people that have this, it's very strong. You are very sensitive to smells at the point that strong ones can make you ill. You usually have a penchant for good foods, good smell, things that smell good, perfumes, oils, laundry soap. I mean, it sounds so random, but like some smells can absolutely put you into a tailspin. You put me around some Fabuloso and we're gonna have words. I hate that smell. I cannot stand it, and I don't know why, but I hate it. So that is just one of the ways. Those are just some of the ways that Claire shows up. So if you have sensitivity to smell, if you smell things that remind you of someone that you loved or a time, write it down. Write it down, write it down. It may not make sense, but it will make sense some other day. But a lot of times you're going to know it in the moment. So I hope that helps, and enjoy your newfound understanding of how your amazing smeller works and how that ties into your clairs and working with your amazing magic.